Modders are already making Cyberpunk 2077's patch 2.2 even better. This patch came out of nowhere, and while, yeah, some features of the patch currently aren't working as supposed to, we're gonna have some mods fixing certain features that almost all of you should be downloading, but we also have some mods expanding on some of the new features added with this update, including several adult options, because of course that's a thing, and there are even some new mods adding in some of the most requested features that this patch didn't add, like New Game Plus. New Game Plus has long been one of the most requested features to be added to Cyberpunk 2077, but with 2 new mods, you can basically implement this yourself. This mod combination is going to be New Game Plus Native with the newly released New Life Path Intro Fresh Start. New Game Plus Native will allow you to carry over a ton of things from an existing character onto a totally new save. And this is all implemented really nicely. Now, on the main menu, you're going to have a New Game Plus button. And when using this, you'll immediately be prompted to load a save. This basically just has to be an end of game save at that point of no return, and this will serve as the base where all of your items, levels, and more will be transferred to this new character. And with this, you'll have the freedom to fully recreate your character visually and even respec all of their various attributes if you want to. But when it comes to your levels, items, cyberware, and even what cars you have in your garage, all of that is going to be carried over. So you can basically jump into Cyberpunk 2077 with a giant head start. And this mod does have another really cool option to just flat out skip the prologue if you want to. So instead, you'll be placed into the game immediately after the heist as you're first meeting Johnny. But I personally wouldn't do that, as a much cooler way to use this mod is to replay the prologue of the game with the newly released Fresh Start. Fresh Start is a technical marvel. This gives you an additional life path option beyond the traditional 3. With Fresh Start, you gave up your corpo life for the open road to become a nomad. But since then, you've also given up that for something else in Night City. So you basically tried 2 life path choices, gave both of them up, and now have access to both corpo and nomad dialogue options. And what makes this so impressive is the fully custom start itself. You'll be at the new orbital terminal that was added with Phantom Liberty, basically clearing security as you enter into Night City. With the start, you'll immediately have Jackie and Misty as your friends, as opposed to having to meet them via the prologue.
Worked up an appetite, just waiting.
Typical Jackie.
It's good to see you too, Jack. How you been?
Yeah, I know how it is. Can't complain, but we ain't here to shoot the shit about me.
Vic. So good to see you, old Ripper.
Hey, V. How you feeling?
And this custom voice and scene work done here doesn't look like anything else in Cyberpunk 2077 because nobody's really done this before. Mostly because without proper mod tools, making something like this just means dozens, if not more, hours of trial and error and finding the right lines to sync things up.
Alright, whatever. You make the rules.
Do you have any outstanding debts or warrants?
No.
Aha. Your file says you used to work for Arasaka?
Right.
And your employment with them was terminated?
I'm afraid it's more complicated than that.
This is some seriously impressive work, and shortly after all of this, you will have that skip ahead montage, so you are kind of starting the game a bit faster with this alternative life path start, and before you know it, you'll be on your first job, and here is where New Game Plus Native will kick back in. You of course have access to far more items, and your character build will be here, like me being able to use Sandevistan right from the start of the game, but to balance things out, many of the enemies you encounter in Night City will also be tougher as a result. There's 2 major avenues to this. On one hand, enemies are just tougher, their stats are going to be higher, but just like some of the other CDPR takes on New Game Plus, this mod also makes it so some enemies will have new abilities. Your first combat encounter typically won't look like this. So it's this cool dual experience where the introduction into the game is going to be completely new, but also that subsequent playthrough will be quite a bit different because of how you're beginning things and how much harder some aspects will be. But even beyond New Game Plus, modders have also been quick to enhance some of the patch 2.2 specific features with fixes or even upgrades. Smart frames are the really nice new photo displays for your apartment, but sadly there's only 1 in each apartment. Thankfully, the mod More Smart Frames in V's apartments will increase the quantity, and this is done by adding all of the other frame shapes. So this is just really nice. You'll now have not only a variety of photos hanging from your wall, but you're also going to always have an option for both a portrait and landscape photo in every single apartment, so you can truly display everything you want to. And you can even get this in real life with a Cyberpunk 2077 display. Just like Smart Frames, displays are easily swappable and have tons of designs for Cyberpunk 2077 or even some other games out there. If you use my affiliate link down below, you can get one for yourself and maybe even get a bit of a discount, and some of these displays do make that perfect last-minute holiday gift. But as you can probably imagine, modders also immediately began releasing some photo mode packs once they realized that you can add custom photos to these frames. So there are a variety of very adult Cyberpunk character photos that you can download and display if you're interested. And if you do want to create some of this content for yourself, some adult photography in Cyberpunk 2077, you can now do this more easily than ever with the Kiss Your Lover pose pack. This will implement a ton of new photo mode poses for your character alongside another NPC for some very romantic photo shoots if you want them. But perhaps you also want a bit more control over Johnny Silverhand. With patch 2.2, a new feature was added where Johnny has a chance to appear next to you in your car as you're driving. This might sound familiar because it is based off this older mod named The Passenger, which literally did the exact same thing. And a pretty cool feature of this all is, internally, CDPR literally named the new Johnny spawning feature The Passenger in the files of Cyberpunk. This of course being a nice nod to that original mod author, and that original mod author came back in a very clutch way by releasing the Passenger feature settings. This implements several toggleable settings for this Johnny riding feature, such as making him spawn in your car all of the time, or less of the time, or never. And beyond that, there are several optional settings for the comments Johnny can make while riding along with you, or actually making it so he can't make those comments. And this mod author isn't stopping here, as they also just released Deceptious Bug Fixes, which is a mod that all of you watching right now should download. As surprising as patch 2.2 was, what in some ways was even more surprising is the plethora of lingering bugs that it didn't fix. Deceptious Bug Fixes merges several released bug fixes into one nice download. You could almost think of it as an unofficial community patch. There is a bug where if you call Misty, it blocks being able to call Jackie Wells, which would make you miss out on this really cool Act 2 Jackie message. I don't want to spoil this one entirely here, but if you haven't tried calling Jackie after finishing the Act 1 of Cyberpunk, definitely give this a try. There's a bug where TVs in-game would just stop playing audio. All the visuals would still be there, but no sound. Thankfully, this mod does restore the sounds to those TVs. And even a larger scale bug where during the major game endings, V's mouth would just remain open and stop moving. This would kind of hinder that ending moment, but this mod also resolves that and includes several more further fixes. Enemies also stop dodging at some point, at least most dodges. They can still do this one where they simply dodge backwards, but anything beyond that is currently blocked and not working in game. That is unless you download the enemies dodging fix, which will re-enable the full range of dodge options for enemies. And if you're playing Cyberpunk 2077 on PC right now and using FSR 3, which CDPR and AMD added a couple of months ago with patch 2.13, well, if you're using this, download the FSR 3 FrameGen mod. Yeah, that may seem counterintuitive, like why am I downloading a mod adding in a feature when the devs just added in themselves? Well, it's because this time around the modders actually are doing a better job than CDPR. CDPR added FSR 3.0, while this mod is using the more updated FSR 3.1. And simply put, you'll get the exact same performance, but have significantly improved visuals with the modded version. FSR 3.0 will cause lots of foliage flicker, and this can be incredibly distracting and even typical gameplay. Switch to 3.1 and you'll completely remove that. This is a big deal, particularly when driving around in the Badlands where you have a ton of foliage everywhere, but FSR 3.1 is also just higher quality. Lots of those distant buildings and other objects will flicker or just be blurrier on 3.0 and look significantly improved on 3.1. Considering all of this comes at literally no cost or performance, yeah, you should absolutely download this mod, and it's just a more updated version of the exact same technology. And also throw on the FrameGen ghosting fix. This will dramatically improve the ghosting issue that occurs when using any kind of frame generation. It isn't going to remove the problem completely, but work to dramatically improve things. So in light environments, things are almost perfect, but as you return to shade or dark, the ghosting often does return. But either way, if the streaks in the corner of your screen are starting to annoy you, this mod is the best improvement for it right now. Unfortunately, there isn't a comprehensive fix, but this is the best option as far as making things better go. But okay, that's enough fixes. I'm sure the vast majority of you would also like to see some new content for Cyberpunk 2077, but you're in luck there, because Cyberpunk 2077 also just got its best armor mod ever. The modular military Xenitex backpack will add in a functional backpack that you can freely customize. This mod requires Equipment EX. This opens up the various character slots for your character in Cyberpunk 2077, giving you far more customizability options. But from this, you can equip a backpack and then using these individual customization slots, add on various modules of your choice choice to your backpack. So you can have a backpack with a weapon on the side, including tons of choices for both ranged and melee options. I think this machete attachment easily looks the best, but you could also add on pouches, and these will dynamically adapt to your color picked for the overall backpack. There are a ton of color choices here, so you could have it fit basically all of your needs as far as what the rest of your outfit will look like. And you could have a few more things added on top of your backpack as well as attachments if you want to. And one of the really cool parts is this backpack actually works on your character. If you equip it, it'll increase your carrying capacity by 250 pounds. Overall, a really awesome mod that makes me even more excited for what the future of Cyberpunk modding contains. But if you also want some new weapons to flesh out your kit, Extra Iconics is one of the best weapon mods available right now. This is a pack of over 10 new iconic weapons implemented into Night City, and what makes these so cool is how unique many of these are in gameplay terms. Special Delivery will fire explosive embeddables, and as you reload, all of the explosives fired will explode. So you could use this to create some really cool chain takedowns, where basically you fire these embeddables into several enemies, then reload and watch them all explode. Or alternatively, embed into one enemy, wait for them to walk around some of their friends, and then reload, having them all explode. Or hey, just fire into bodies and then carry those bodies over to enemies and then have them explode. Yeah, this one's a lot of fun to mess around with. High Doom will be an iconic revolver that turns you into the ultimate gunslinger. Typical shots will have an explosive knockdown effect, basically being high power to temporarily incapacitate enemies, but if you aim and enable the Smart Link feature, this will become a fannable pistol where you can quickly get several locked-on shots towards your enemies. And this is just a ton of fun to use. Initially, I would take down enemies with that high-powered shot knocking them down, but then switch to using some of my fan shots as they easily lock on and finish off whatever's in front of me. The Ghost Blade will be incredibly hard to find, but has this incredibly unique look and effect. This blade has 100% armor penetration, so it'll melt through almost anything, and it'll deal a perfect combination of thermal, electric, and chemical damage. But due to this unique mix-up of effects, it cannot be used to block attacks from enemies. And this is easily one of the coolest weapons added with this mod. It could be a serious change-up on your build once unlocked just due to how powerful it is, but overall it is a ton of fun to use and again can melt through enemies, particularly high armored enemies become very easy to take down. And then Desert Snake, which is another really fun one. The main shot of this pistol has a ton of raw stopping power, so it can knock away enemies' weapons and even deals chemical damage to them. But this weapon also has a secondary fire mode. Simply hit the tab key to switch to the secondary shot, which will explode into a cloud of smoke that deals further poison damage and reduces enemy healing. This one is a ton of fun, almost like a crowd riot weapon of sorts. And this can be incredibly powerful against bosses who tend to like to heal up pretty often. And of course, with this mod, there is a ton more. I'm really just showing you a few of the 10 plus weapons added in, but as you can see, what makes this mod so fun is how unique many of these iconic weapons are, because they could really change up how you're using a weapon in gameplay. For a lot of these, I'm not playing like this with any other weapon in Cyberpunk 2077, so it creates a really unique experience. But of course, the other major addition to Cyberpunk 2077 with patch 2.2 was vehicle customization. This really just being on the visual side, but you can easily enhance this with the car modification shop mod. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this one, but if you're not, it'll allow you to make performance improvements in several different areas of your vehicle. So you can just install twin turbos with weight reduction to make any car insanely fast in Night City, or take a more balanced approach and make that slow vehicle quite a bit more relevant and actually handle well so it becomes a viable driving option. And overall, that's why I love this mod so much. It makes it so picking a car, and really that main car in Night City, is a lot more flexible, because many of the vehicles in your garage you can upgrade to be one of the fastest vehicles in the game, and thankfully it does already support several of the new vehicles that were just added with patch 2.2. And if you do want an even deeper degree of control over your vehicle, also grab the enhanced vehicle system. This implements manual controls for many aspects of your car, so things like opening doors, windows, the trunk, messing with your lights, and a ton more become things you can actually control for your car. It's a handy mod for those looking for that extra degree of control in Cyberpunk 2077, but if you're looking for even more Cyberpunk mods going forward, check out this video to see one of the biggest cut features that modders just added back in.